I liked that it was in a dorm because if you don't know, I just moved to college. I'm about to start college actually. By the time you're hearing this, I will have already been in college for about a month. Hi, welcome to the podcast. I'm Joycelyn, your player one, and today in the house we've got Out of the Game by Shitao Fan. It's a first person puzzle game, and the premise of the game is Out of the Game is essentially the inception of video games with lots of game within a game madness. It takes place within a small dorm room inside a video game that you have to figure out how to escape. Littered around the room are various objects you can interact with and games that you play in which you may manage to find the keys that you need to escape. There's no content warnings for the game, and it's free and it's available on itch.io for Windows, Macs, and Linux. It took me 52 minutes to play according to itch.io, but I only had about 25 minutes of actual playtime. And it was mechanically super easy because it's just like clicking and using the arrow keys to move around. But since there were no like instructions or controls, it was kind of confusing at first, which caused me to take 52 minutes on the game, even though I only played the actual game itself for about 25 minutes. Like I said, the gameplay was technically very easy once I figured it out. I actually had to watch one of the videos in the comments of the game to figure out what I was supposed to do because there were just no instructions at all, and I didn't know what I was supposed to be looking for. I didn't know that I was supposed to look for keys. Also, I had a lot of glitches. So my cursor was gigantic the entire time I played the game, and it also wasn't accurate. So anytime I tried to click anything, it just didn't work. I had to like find the spot where my cursor actually was with my gigantic cursor that was on the screen, which was really, really annoying. You also walk very, very slow in the game, which technically isn't a problem. It's just a part of the game, but it was really irritating to me, especially with all of the other bugs that were happening. I was just very irritated the entire time I played because of that. The graphics were really cool, other than like the visual bugs that I was having with my cursor and the other visual bugs that I was having. The graphics were cool. They were pretty simple. I liked how you could see the city outside of the window to the dorm. I liked that it was in a dorm because if you don't know, I just moved to college. I'm about to start college actually. By the time you're hearing this, I will have already been in college for about a month. But it was very interesting to see the dorm room and compare it to mine because mine doesn't look anything like the one in the game at all. But I thought it was really cool. I also thought the inception was cool. Really, I thought the whole concept of the game was very, very cool. I was a little disappointed when it came to the sound and the music because there was no music throughout the game, which I understand is a lot to have usually. And then it was mostly silent the entire time. So, like, you would get sound effects when you woke up. Every time you woke up, there was a gasp sound effect, which I didn't really like because it scared me, but like it made sense, you know? But then I also didn't like the Pong sound effects because I just don't like Pong sound effects. It's just for me. There was music from Mario though, which was good. Enjoyed that the music was there for Mario. It was kind of loud, especially after having no music for most of the rest of the game. It was very abrasive to me. It seemed it kind of was startling, and I had to turn everything down because I was confused and disoriented by the music. I also didn't know how I was supposed to play Mario, which annoyed me even more. I know that there were supposed to be hints on the back of the posters on how to play the game. Really, all that did was like kind of scare me because I had to turn over the posters. And then the stuff that was on there didn't really help me at all. honestly. So I don't know. Like it was just writing there, but like it didn't really help. And I mean that was the only really like story element of the game was the posters. Like I feel like there wasn't that much of a story. Like I don't know how I got trapped in the dorm room. I don't know what led up to getting trapped in the dorm room and why I had to use video games to get out. So like there was no real story. It was just the posters telling me that I was asleep and I needed to wake up. Honestly, it was kind of disappointing. I expected more of a story, especially with the entire Inception thing. I thought that would be a really cool way to pull in a story, make something cool out of it. Because I mean, the story is basically just waking up over and over again to try and escape the game, which is it's a story technically, is what I'll say. Because like it's not like really it's not that much of a story, but I mean technically it is a story. There was no backstory, like I said, so it just kind of fell flat for me. Um, my favorite part of the game was the entire concept of the game. I really enjoyed the Inception part of the game. Like, I thought that was really, really cool. And it also helped with the graphics because you could play the game in the game within the game over and over again. It was really cool. It was like when you put mirrors back to back, very cool. But it really wasn't executed that well, but I thought the concept was cool. Like I enjoyed playing Mario and playing Pong within the game, even though Pong wasn't played the way that you would normally play Pong, so it kind of confused me at first. But I enjoyed that they were included in the game to add to the Inception part of the story. I mean, if you could call it a story, really, it wasn't. There wasn't really a story. My least favorite part is definitely all of the visual bugs and glitches that I had. I mean, because it really took away from my experience playing the game, honestly. And it was really, really frustrating to use my cursor when it wasn't there, or if it was there, but it was big and it wasn't actually where I thought it was. Um, Also, like, just all of the bugs with the game. Like if I turn too fast, then I'm in a completely different spot, or I wake up again, or I get stuck in something. Like I had to restart the game multiple times because I got stuck in the TV, or I got stuck in the computer and I couldn't get out. So that added to my playtime, even though I wasn't actually playing the game. I was just troubleshooting, um, which was kind of annoying. Some extra things I wanted to mention about the game that contributed to my rating of the game were that I mean, I the game was created within a month, which is really really impressive, and it was also a school project. So I really enjoyed that part. When I saw that, I was very intrigued, and it's part of the reason why I wanted to play the game because I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." There were a lot of bugs though, and like I enjoyed the concept, but I wish the bugs were kind of more fleshed out and fixed so that I could actually enjoy playing the game. Because overall, the game was really good. I just had like game breaking bugs that needed to be fixed, for me to enjoy the game. Also, I kind of wish the third key that you had to find was within another game, just like the first two, because it was just kind of there, and it was anticlimactic because that was the last one I found, and honestly, I kind of wish there was more to that, because it could have contributed to the story. It could have added something to the game, but it didn't because there was nothing else to do, really. So would I recommend this game? I honestly don't know if I can recommend this game. With all of the bugs, it's pretty much unplayable, and it may work better on different devices, but for me on a Mac, it didn't work really well. And in the comments of the game, it says that the Linux version doesn't work at all. So there's that. Um, there also aren't any instructions or controls, so it's hard to figure out what to do and how to do it. And while I'm impressed by this game, it's also really buggy and hard to play because of all of the glitches. So I don't know if I can really recommend it. I think, I mean, if you're interested in seeing like a student-made game that, and you know going into it that there's a lot of bugs and glitches, I think maybe. But I mean, if you're not really interested, then I wouldn't play it, honestly. So for my rating of Out of the Game by Shitao Fan, I rated it a 5 out of 10 tokens. Great job. Thank you guys for joining me on this episode of Indie House. Be sure to rate the episode and let me know your thoughts. I've got a Discord server called Indie House Official, which would be a great place to give your feedback and talk to me, our collaborators, or other listeners of the show. If you have any indie game suggestions, feel free to comment below or hit us up on Indie House Pod on Twitter or Instagram using the hashtag IndieHouseGaming. And if you would like to support this podcast and get some cool extra content, you can find the Patreon in the card in the description, and catch us next week on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. See y'all on the next level. Bye!